All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you again to those who came to the Incorporating New Tools into the ESL Classroom for Teachers and Students training. My name is Angie Fabo. I just wanted to give you this video as just a little extra support so that you were able to navigate all the resources on here, or if you'd like to share this with someone else, one of your colleagues, that way they also have a better understanding of the tools that are available in this presentation. So first off, in this, the PDF that I'm going to send out, everything is hyperlinked already, so you are able to just click on the specific links, and they'll take you directly to the website. That way you can explore at your own pace and see. So everything should be there. If you have any issues, please feel free to contact me. I am here to help. There were some other things here. Skip over some of the things and go straight to just the resources that we were talking about. So this is the first resource that we talked about. This book is a great book if you want or are interested in learning more about your learners' languages, their L1s. So what this book does is that it just allows for you to, in one or two pages, understand more about their language, their native language, the sentence structure, the grammar, the writing system, and it's just a great handbook to have on hand. That way, you're able to understand that maybe the areas of need that your learner will have because their language might be completely different than the English language, or maybe the similarities that they have that will benefit them, that will help them to be able to, learn this new language. So this book is hyperlinked on there. So if you click directly on the book, it will take you to the Amazon link. You can get a used copy. That is what I did, and it's still great. But take a look. I know that it's always kind of limited. People really do love this book. So again, just another resource for you. If we move on to this one, Busy Teacher, we did talk about how this is a database with over 17,000 worksheets and lesson plans and articles, just all great things that you're able to use in your classroom. The only thing that I did mention is just please use it at your discretion. Don't just, go in there and click and print. It is very important. I call it kind of like the teachers pay teachers for ESL. So it can be wonderful if you're looking for something specific. However, not everything on there is 100% foolproof, right? So when you click on this, it will take you to this website. It's a little bit overwhelming, but the more that you go through it, the more that you're able to kind of understand. And what it does is that you can sort by category. So there's all these different things that you can take a look at. And when you click make it more specific. So let's say you're looking at something for pronunciation, and then maybe you're looking for homophones, right? And then you search find, and it'll give you all these different things. So maybe phonetics versus spelling is something that you want to take a look at. And it takes you to the place where the worksheet is. You just want to take a quick look at it without downloading it. You can click on Quick View, and it just gives you kind of a small image of it, right? This is very hard to see. But maybe you're saying, oh, okay, this is way too overwhelming to give to my students. But who knows? Maybe it is great for me as a teacher to use, right? So let's say that you're like, well, no, I don't like this one. You didn't have to download it, right? So you can go back and find something else that maybe you want to do. So maybe you want to use minimal pairs bingo, and you take a look at it and say, oh, yeah, this is great. This is a great resource that I want to use for my classroom. So you actually have to go scroll down a little bit and click on the download the worksheet button, and that will download it onto your computer and you're able to print. So again, this is just a quick view. If you click here, there's the download button. If you go to the main part and you're able to scroll down, then you can see some articles that have some great topics. So maybe, how to teach conversational in English, 9 best practices. So it gives you 9 easy steps that you're able to use. Just great research, great things to keep up with if you're looking at teaching. You can also search if you're looking for something more specific. Search it and you can see if there is that available for you. Again, this is just so that you don't feel like you have to recreate the wheel. If you're looking for something, maybe someone already has made it, someone has already put it out there. So it's just an easy way to find something that might already be out there. You don't have to use your time. All right, then we have these two that are very similar, LO and Deep English. They're both used for both listening and speaking practice, vocabulary. They could be used in a whole group, small group, individual practice. So let's start with LO here. And what LO does is that it has all sorts of lessons that you can think of to listen to. So let's take a look at this. Let's say if we go on lessons, right? And the great thing about this is that it's in all sorts of English. It's not just standard English that, the classic American accent, but it has people speaking English from all parts of the world. So your learners can can hear different accents, can hear that, maybe that it's okay for them to have an accent as well. So if you click on one, let's say for example, this one, right, on cheating students, this is someone speaking from Venezuela, so someone who's Venezuelan who's speaking English. And what it does is that you can actually take a look at. You can play the audio, right? And it has the script right here for you already. So you don't have to go looking for the script. You don't have to go do a Google search for it or put it through AI. It's just already here. And this could be a great activity to maybe copy onto a document, a Word document, and delete some of the words, insert some blanks, so that way it could be a fill in the blank, right? It also has a quiz option right there. So that way during the video. Maybe if you guys want to answer the quiz, if there's a sound, you want to answer the quiz together or afterwards, you can also copy and paste and print it out if that's easier. And the great thing is that it also has vocab available. So you're able to understand some of the vocab that might be a little more complex. It's that vocab that is not clear, has a clear definition. You can't use context clues necessarily to understand it. That can be confusing. Something like catch cheating, where you're catching people cheating, it's confusing because usually when you catch something is when something falls, when you drop something, when you throw a ball, something like that, right? So for people who are learning English, this might be a little confusing. They give you a great audio with a description, and that's also written out so that they're able to understand the definition, how to use it, in what context. So it just has great stuff. And the great thing is that it's not all just audio, it does have some videos too as well, right? Um, we do go back to the beginning, you can see that it has, videos of all sorts of things, and it has the country that the people are from right next to it. So you could see what it is. Like this first person is from Lebanon, right? So we know that's there. Um, and again, this is for you to take a look at, see what works for you. Not everything might work for you, but it also has different levels, so you can sort it by level, beginner, high beginner, things like that. So it's great for your students if you have different levels in one classroom. You can kind of sort it out that way. You also have um, you also have the podcast option, and it's great because it actually has a podcast that people can listen to. So maybe you want to refer your students, like if they have extra time, they want to listen to something, and it's great because when you play it, you can actually change it like a YouTube video. You can change the speed of it. No, the regular speed. So you want to maybe fast forward, like make it a little faster or make it a little slower. It has those options, which is just great. All right. So that is LO, and it's a great resource again to do that. But we also have Deep English, and Deep English is also wonderful and it has so many great things. You can look at all the wonderful things that it has here, but it also, you can look out here and have some stuff. So it does have some free lessons that you can practice your listening, again, your comprehension with that. It does have some shadowing, which is a little different than just repeating. It's trying to match a native speaker's tone, intonation, speed, with fluency. So it's great for them to practice if they want to get to that near nativeness. But one of the cool things that it does have is it does have an AI chatbot. And what this does is that people can go in and it just says, what would you like to talk about? So it's like talking to a person, but it's really low stress, low stakes. It won't matter if they make a mistake necessarily because there's no one looking at them, there's no one observing them, right? So they can feel a little bit more comfortable. It's not perfect. It's not maybe going to catch every single thing. They're taking big pauses or something. It's technology, but it could be a good way for them to practice something before they practice with another peer or before they practice with the whole class or do a presentation or something, right? So it could just be a great practice for them to do on their own. Um, it also has a pronunciation check, so they're able to type in the word that they want and then uh, type in the word that they want, sorry, up here, and then record themselves. And it says American accent or British accent, but then it'll tell them if they're doing a great job pronouncing it or how to pronounce it. They can listen to it on this side, and just different versions of it, right? And definition and example. So again, just a great tool to look at to use. It has 3-minute lessons. It has free lessons already for you. And just a little bit about this great website. Um, just some articles. It has a free English video course if you'd like to sign up for it. So it just has so many great things that you're able to use. Again, in small groups, large group, maybe individual, just a great resource to have on hand. Then the next one we have is news and levels. And this is great if you have many learners in a class that are different levels, a variety of levels. And this can be quite challenging to do because it's hard to know where to teach, what level to teach. That way it applies to everyone and everyone is successful, right? But you want to make sure that you're just having something that's available for you that is in multiple levels. So, for example, this is great. It has relevant articles that are relevant not only to the students, but just to the world that we live in today. It can be great for discussion, it can be great for debating. It can open up just so many doors. But when you click on the article, the great thing about it is that it has 3 different levels. So it's the same article, the same topic, but it's just levels. So each level, it gets a little bit more intense. Right? The vocabulary gets a little more complex. The sentence structures get a little more complex. But the great thing is that not only are they able to read it, but they can also listen to it, have someone read it to you. It also has words, vocabulary words that might be a little bit more complex in bold. So that way you know, oh, okay, I probably should go over these words. But you have all the learners in your classroom reading the same topic, reading the same article, but just something that is more comfortable depending on the level that they're at. So again, an easy tool for you so you don't have to go recreating the wheel. You can take a look at some of the articles here, making sure that it's within the area that they're able to do. Look here. So again, great resource. The next thing I did mention was using AI for images. So you don't have to look through Google, do a huge Google search every time that you want to find an image. It is something that's been mentioned a lot, trying to find things that are matching what our students look like, that are clear, that they're not confusing. So a great thing to do is use AI to create these images. And you actually don't need the paid version of a lot of these. You can just use the regular one that's available. So something like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, those things are free. You can upgrade to the paid version, but with the free version, you can go in and type exactly what you want, right? And then with Canva, if you do have the paid version of Canva, which I know some districts do, they do provide for their teachers, um, then you can go ahead and make them, right? Because you don't want to be overwhelmed and stressed trying to sort through a bunch of things, right? And for example, this picture right here, I made it with Canva. So I just typed into Canva exactly what I wanted. I wanted to look like a teacher of Latino descent, just trying, stressed out, trying to look at papers, big piles of papers. I just was very specific with the wording that I used to get exactly what I wanted. And on the first try, I was able to get it. So it might take a little bit of work to get the wording correct. However, it really is great for coming up with the things that you want so that it's clear for your students. It could be great for vocabulary, new vocabulary words. It can even be an activity for your students to do, right? So something to be able to teach maybe one vocab word to the class by finding an image that is understandable, that is relevant, it is important for them. So just a great tool to keep in mind. Um, One of the things I did mention quickly was just making sure that we have consistent routines for our ESL learners. The more consistent it is, the better that it's structured, these routines, then they know what to expect. It makes them a little bit more successful because they know what to predict. They feel, okay, I know what comes next, this comes next. But one of the main things is to make sure that every class, you're going over your objectives for that. That really does make a big difference because you're able to allow them to understand what they should be learning, what they should be focusing on during this class time, and also helping yourself to make sure that you are um, getting to this, that you are actually teaching to this goal that you have in mind for them. It's very easy, to get straight, which is not a bad thing necessarily all the time to kind of go and do other topics or bring in topics that became relevant in the conversation in class. But it's important to say that if we want to master this goal, if we want to meet this goal, meet this objective, then we want to do everything possible to stay on target. And then it will help our students to be more successful or reduce their anxiety, and they can focus on just learning the language without worrying about what's coming next. So just something good to keep in mind. And just again, creating a classroom culture that is, welcoming, that is encouraging, that celebrates their progress, their effort is wonderful, and it will always help them. So take a look at this in the slideshow. Just could be some great things. Now we're going to move on to students. Students, there are some great things that we can also do for them. One is making them independent. The more independent that they are, it really does help them, not only in the classroom, but then feel confident to be able to use these skills outside of the classroom. So getting them to do that is great. And there are many ways to do that, having them set their own goals, making choices for them, project-based learning, peer teaching, but we want to get them to a point where they can basically run the class themselves. It might not be necessarily to that level, but it could be that they know, okay, they come in, they know the routine, they know, how to help each other, they know how to um, persevere, how to find something that they're struggling with, where to turn to, right? Making them as independent as possible. Maybe having extra things, extra practice available if you're on a topic. That way, if people, finish at different times, they know what to do, they know what to work on. Just great things. Making them independent will not only help you as a teacher, but will make them more successful. Now, some tools for the students when it comes to pronunciation. I always say that a mirror is a great tool to use because it just helps understand the placement of the tongue, the mouth, everything. So it might seem a little silly. It might seem a little like that no one wants to see themselves doing that, but it actually is quite beneficial. They're able to see, where they're putting their tongue. I think about it for something like the sound th, that can be quite challenging for a lot of learners. So understanding where they should place their tongue slightly behind their teeth and everything, and if they're able to see that, then they're able to make those sounds and start learning their sounds, start training their mouths to make those movements and those sounds. So just a great tool. It doesn't require much. It could be a dollar store mirror, and it just could be beneficial. And then for them, Youglish could be also a great tool. And it's just to help them understand how to pronounce certain things. And this is something they can use themselves in the community when they're out and about. Maybe they're seeing a word and they have no idea how to pronounce it. They want to check, they want to make sure, okay, am I pronouncing it correctly? And they're able to go on this website, maybe see like if there's different accents. There's when they might want to do the US accent. But if they want to learn for a word, let's say the word fluent, let's say the word fox, right? Then they can search it and it actually will give them a video where they say the word fox. Okay, and right here, they'll highlight it when they're about to say it. You can hear it and see what it sounds like in a real life scenario. So it might just be good for them to know this if they're ever, out and about and need to learn how to pronounce something quickly. This could be a good little resource for them as well. Okay. I always suggest to make resources for your students, right? They're moving here from a different country. We don't know. They might be here a couple of years, they might be here 20 years. But it's just great to give them all the resources that are available in our communities. And as the teachers, we should be doing this. We should be helping them because they might not know all the great things that there are. So things like the library, encouraging them to go to the library, their local libraries, and seeing what's available. Maybe if there's a food bank near you that they can turn to if they need help. If there's a community center, I know in the town that I live in, there's a great community center that people don't know much about. So I'm having them understand that maybe some of the police information and having them understand that uh, as challenging as it may be, if there is something, to call the police or everything, I know right now it's a little difficult and a little challenging to do that, but just maybe providing some information on that. Or if there's an emergency in their house, to call, what number to call, all these things. And I did link a template here. It's not, anything out of the ordinary, but you can go on there and you can edit the template if you have a Canva account. Doesn't need to be the paid version. Um, and it just, you can put your town name, add the resources and description, but it's just kind of made there for you already in case you wanted to use it. If you already have your own, totally fine. But again, just a great thing to do for our students. So this is just kind of all the resources, a little bit more in depth. I encourage you to not only keep this for yourself, but share it out with anyone else, any of your colleagues that you may have, and just take a look. So thank you so much for coming to this training. We're always here to help. Please feel free to reach out to me if you need anything. We're here, and our digital HEDN staff is also here in case you need anything or your agency needs something, your program needs something. So thank you so much.